is proud to present Mr. Bill Turcott.
You'll get yours for that. Well, welcome everybody to the monthly, bi-monthly meeting of RAC, your organization. This is the RAC meeting, this is your organization, okay? And let's get right on to it. Today we've got an interesting program, I hope, and so let's get to slide number 2. And may we have the pledge to the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We've got a pretty full program today, so I'm not going to get into any of this President remarks stuff. And you know, by the way, Kathy Vore and Vienna Cape, our secretary and our vice president, and the three of us, we're the executive committee, and we meet many times during the month, right? On issues that have been brought up by you people. So I want you to know that these people are, the three of us anyway, are working hard on your behalf, and as we have results to share, we shall do that with you, all of you, okay. Our past presidents, I believe we have Sarah Chambers over there in the corner, right? Hi, Sarah, thank you for being here. You weren't over there, I'm sorry. Pearl Birnbaum is the next president, right, Pearl, yeah. Oh, for heaven's sakes, come on. Yeah. All right, I'm not going to go through all of these, you know, introducing every one of them, you know, but we do, I want to bring to your attention that Bobby O'Neill here in the red is now the RAC rep on the 3rd floor, BC, yeah, BC, all right? And Bobby, wave your hand there. Bobby was a RAC rep 112 years ago when we first moved here, right, Bobby? Right. Yeah. Right. She is replacing Joyce McCutcheon, and let me just say something about Joyce. Joyce was a RAC rep. She was an active RAC rep. She was involved in a lot of our subcommittees. She worked on the DRR project that we had, and anyway, she wanted you to know that she didn't quit. She didn't just leave RAC. She had to leave RAC in her mind because of her own personal reasons and health reasons and so on and so forth. So she just couldn't continue anymore, and she wanted to know that that's why she's not here, and that's why Bobby has been replacing. Okay, thank you. All right. All right, the rest of these people, I think we know. We can go to the next slide. All right, oh yeah, and all right, we also have Greg, right? Greg Phelps is now the new RAC rep for buildings 5 and 6 at GBT. He replaces Ellie Anderson, and Ellie Anderson moved from Freedom Plaza to another, I don't know where, but anyway, she's no longer on the site, she's no longer part of Freedom Plaza. And we had, we went, Greg was a runner-up in the last election, and so we'll welcome him to the council, all right? And Sandra Saltons, is she here? Yes, okay, Sandra, not Sandra, Sandra is our DRR, and I won't go into what DRR is later, and if anybody wants to know, I'll tell you, we'll talk about it. Or you can ask Sandra what to do. Okay. Now let me just say something before we get into this committee thing, report. You know, as I look around, there are new faces, at least they're new to me. There are constantly new people coming to, people are still struggling. Is it rack? Is it rock? What's the difference between rock and rack and all that sort of stuff? All right, this is rack. This is the association council. And it's made up of committees of residents. Okay? And the residents join and then are on these different committees, like housekeeping, like maintenance, like activities, like food service, all the aspects of living here. Now, and there are committee chairs for all of this, and what we try to do in our RAC meetings like this is feature two of those so that they can tell you in depth about their committee, so you can understand. It's kind of like a learning process here, right, And that's what we're doing today. We're going to have two of those committees make a presentation, and now let's bring on Carol O'Brien for representing her Administrative Services Committee, which is a very complex committee, as you will see here.
Thank you, and good morning to everyone. For those of you that are new here, I'm Carol O'Brien. I've been here 8 years. And Don, can you go to the next slide, please? This is our mission statement, and basically when I think about administrative services, I think of security, transportation, and, oh gosh, Carol, I've drawn a blank here. Thank you, transportation, my God, most important thing. Anyway, we do a pretty good job, I think, on that. Anyway, next slide, please. Here's my membership of the committee, and it's a great group of people, and what I like about it is everybody gets a chance to share or say something if they think it's important. Next slide. Oh, no, when I took over this job, the front desk responsibilities, I was astounded at what they do. First of all, they monitor AccuShield. AccuShield is that machine downstairs in the front as you come in. Whenever your family comes in or friends come in, they're supposed to check there, because that way we know that everybody who is in the building. And assurance, you'll learn a little bit more about that later. Assurance is every apartment in the master bathroom, there's a assurance machine there, and that if you don't turn your light on by 10 o'clock in the morning, they will call and see if you are okay. And of course the fire alarms. They address any and all questions, and since you've lived here, you know there's a lot of questions that get asked of them daily. They call the tram for residents and emergency. They check all the cameras on campus. Well, when I say cameras, if you go by their desk, you'll see that they have camera views that you can, they don't go to anybody's private apartment or anything like that. It's just the main areas like the atrium and things, and the doors on the outside. They make reservations for guest rooms, which is very important, and very people really like that. They monitor the residents when they go on and off campus. We want to know whether you're here or whether you're gone. They answer the phone, and this came up today. We have a mixed network, and people get very upset with it because it'll come and say, well, if you want to talk to marketing, push 1. If you want to do this, push 2. All you have to do is push 0, and it'll get you right to the front desk. Now, people don't remember that, but then there is an additional phone number. Excuse me. And the additional phone number is 813-293-4178, and that will get you to the front desk and not have to go through the mixed network. They also maintain the Kava key system, and somebody said to me, what is that? Well, that's your key that you use to get into your apartment. If your key doesn't work, you go down there and they will make you another key. And they lock down the elevators anytime there's an emergency or anything like that. Or a move-in, as we well know, or a move-out. Okay. Transportation. The normal hours for that office are from 7 to 5, and they maintain a fleet of vehicles that seems to change frequently. But anyway, right now we have 6 cars. 3 of the cars are for handicap. We have 4 buses, and 1 bus can carry handicap. And I believe Jeff Dickerson is the one that does the interviewing for any possible drivers. And of course, that means you have to maintain the services. The vehicles are cleaned every single day. They also schedule transportation to doctors, dentists, and of course, we have the bus trips where you can sign up for, to go to the grocery stores, and you also have time to go to the bank or the libraries, and you just go to the transportation office on the second floor and sign up there. They also provide transportation on the weekends to temples and churches, and after hours, call the front desk. If you are going to be, if the transportation office is closed, all you do is call the front desk and they will call either Uber or Lyft for you. And then EverTrust, that's a new tech program that really is interesting. I've been up there to witness it, and they actually know where every single driver is. And it's color-coded, yellow, red, green, or whatever. And the people in the transportation office, like Tabor and Carl, they know exactly where everybody is, and if they need to shift somebody to go pick up somebody, they do that. Okay, and if you want to sign up for transportation out of your apartment, just go on to UniQuest and go to where the transportation office is, and click on there, and it will all come up. Okay. Now, one of the big things about a place like this, a CCRC, is you want to be safe and feel safe. And we have on-site medical support here. As you know, we have 24/7 EMT, which is very important. We have resident monitoring. We have different security programs, protocols, and like people, if somebody's missing, the there's a safety committee team that has been trained in what to do when somebody is missing and how they go about doing that. Emergency call systems, and that's, speaking of the emergency call system, can you? If you don't have one of, okay, if you don't have one of these, get one. Go by the front desk and pick one up. It is truly remarkable. I have used it twice. One time it found me out in the middle of the parking lot. I did not know that I had pushed the button. It happened by accident. I happened to get a new car, and I was trying it out, but I set it off. But they found me in the parking lot. And I'm telling you, it works anywhere within this entire campus, and it's wonderful to have. And then we also maintain a great relationship with the law enforcement nearby. We have Deputy Mary come by several times a year. He might be talking about different scams that might be occurring on the phones or through the mail or something like that. And then usually, I think it's twice a year, they come and they collect old medication down in the atrium, and that's a wonderful, wonderful thing that they do for us. Now, does anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you very much for your attention, and I hope everybody had a good one.
Wow, they're involved in a lot of things, aren't they? Okay, our next committee will be the Technology Committee, and I think Tom Hart is, yeah, there he is. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's me in person. So next slide, please. Okay, so I'm going to talk about what the Technology Committee does. So the important thing is that we are all volunteers. No one's getting paid for this. We facilitate, encourage, educate, and familiarize residents with use of technology. And that is our mission in life. And these are our committee members. Notice we have about 18 committee members. And we are a working committee, which means that we don't always have everyone show up for a committee meeting, but we have a lot of people that do help other residents. And as long as they're willing to help and have the skills necessary to do that, then they can be part of our committee. So, important thing is that Sam Montana is our secretary. And we have what's called a skills matrix that we developed. And that basically tells the Retired Officers Corporation, ROC, the office, that's kind of like the first line of defense for you, it tells them who has expertise in different areas. So even though all the information goes out to each of the committee members, some people, like myself and Harry Hintz, have expertise in Apple products. So if there's some people that have expertise in Windows, especially Sam Montana, he's also a monitor at the computer club in Sun City Center. Next slide, please. So the important thing is that we work with the Retired Officers Corporation, the ROC office here. It's on the 3rd floor, and that's the first place to go. Now, we had a presentation last week about Uniguest, and Uniguest is basically the starting platform for everything. So when you go to Uniguest, you can put in a technology request, and it will go to the ROC office, and they will send it out to all the committee members, and then we will, if we have expertise in that, we will get in touch with the resident. So we also schedule presentations in areas of technology. We just recently had one on Uniguest. Things that are coming in the future would be when do I replace my computer? Also, we're going to have a seminar on the Chromebook, which is a laptop which is very easy to use and especially good for seniors. So it's good for someone who wants to do just kind of like email or surfing the net or whatever, but they don't need video capability or ability to do a whole lot of other things. So that's a really easy way to do it. So we have workshops. Now last year we had quite a number of assistance, probably at least over 500-600 requests. So and we've had requests. We've had presentations on both the iPhone and the Android phones. The advantage of the iPhone is that most of them are similar. So if you have a relatively upgraded operating system, most of the iPhones are very similar. The Android phones are a little more challenging because each manufacturer has a different way of presenting the same operating system. Next slide, please. So, don't pull your hair out if you have a technology problem. It happened to me. I lost it a long time ago. So, anyway, the important thing is that Uniguest is the starting platform for all of your technology requests. And then they decide, they send it out to all of the committee members, and then we decide who we want to help the resident. And by the way, the ROC office does a tremendous job. And let's just give them a round of applause for all they do for us. Now, they just added Vanessa to the staff there, and she is tremendous also. And Heather has got a lot of knowledge. So there's a lot of knowledge there, and that's the first place to start. And especially if it's something that's portable, if it's a laptop or iPad or tablet or phone or something, just take it in. Something might be something simple that they can handle. Next slide, please. So, anyway, we have a lot of things coming up, obviously. So the important thing is we meet monthly so that we can see how effective our presentations were, and we can see kind of what the residents need next. So, and we're also open to more suggestions. So anytime you see any of the committee members and want to make a suggestion on what you might need, we're very open to that. Next. So, the end of February, we're going to have a Libra office from Sam Montana, and that is an alternative to Microsoft Word. So if you want to do some word processing, but you don't want to pay for Microsoft Word, or you don't think you have the expertise to do that, LibreOffice is basically another way to do it, and it's a little bit easier, especially for beginners. We also do tips and tricks in the weekly bulletin. So keep an eye on that, and Sam Montana is handling that for us. So anyway, if you have any expertise in technology or you just like to learn, a lot of times we go out in pairs or in 2 or 3 people, so that if you would like to help other residents but don't have a lot of technical expertise and like say printers, we could take you along on a service call, and then you could see kind of how we do it, and then eventually you'll be able to go out on your own. So anyway, we would like to have you as part of our committee, and that is what I have to say. Do I have any questions about what we do in the technology committee? Yes, Sarah.
There's a lot of reference to Uniguest in our communications.
That is correct.
But there's nothing in any of the communication that I've seen that tells anyone how they would get to Uniguest.
Well, we did have a presentation last week here in the auditorium. We had quite a good one, but what we had before was called racrep.org, and that went away. In October, that was completely gone. So what we have, and we did have Touchtown. Touchtown is now integrated into Uniguest. Everything starts in Uniguest. So once you get onto Uniguest, and if you need help getting on that, then you need to go down to see Kayla in Activities. They will help you get onto Uniguest. And also the ROC office can help you do the same thing. And that's the Uniguest is your entry not only to all the other things, but also for the dining portal. So once you're on Uniguest, and you have that on your tablet, your phone, your computer, whatever you have, you can access that, make reservations for dinner, whatever you'd like to do. But that's the starting point.
So for anybody who has a new device or somebody visiting and there's nobody in any of the offices, what do they do? It's my suggestion that something be made available outside of business offices and business stuff. Yeah.
Right, well, there should be I'm sure there probably are instructions on your information that you get when you're a new resident. Is that correct about Uniguest?
No.
Yes, there's a whole packet of information that goes out for new residents. So if you're a new resident, then you will have instructions on how to access Uniguest.
And for old residents.
And for old residents, that would be, you just basically, go ahead.
I'd like to take that just because a lot of you are making who's making reservations on the dining portal? A lot of you. Okay, I see a lot of hands going up. So you know you're getting through the dining portal on Uniguest now because that's the only way that you can get it. So there are quite a few residents on campus that are already utilizing Uniguest. If you are a resident that's having issues, we have actually put in the dining news, and it has been over and over and over since October, this changeover, that the full count portal is now located in Uniguest. If you need help getting on, Susie can help get you on Uniguest. The dining associates can also help you access the portal. So we can continue to put that in the dining news or have that in a different, do you want that in a different way? Do you want us to communicate that out differently, Cyril?
I've seen all of the communication. I'm simply making a suggestion that there is an area, people do read the bulletin, but after hours, on a Sunday when there's nobody here, when you have someone who is brand new and has had a barrage of information, it would be helpful if there was information how to get to Uniguest in some other fashion. That's my suggestion.
I understand. So what she is saying is after hours or on a Sunday, if somebody wants to get this information, how do they find that? So I would say the best thing to do is if there is a new resident is during business hours. I'm gonna be honest, it's just like if I'm having trouble with something and I need to call customer service, if they're not a 24-hour customer service, then I'm at the realm of their customer service hours.
And I don't want to speak for the front desk, but I have a feeling that if you went to the front desk and called them, they would probably help you out with that because it is so simple and it's standardized for everyone. So they will know, your password. Your username is your first initial and your last name, and your password is the 4 digits of your month and year of birth, and that's it. So anyone that knows that, they can get into your account and they can help you with it. So they probably have that at the front desk, but I can't speak for them. Any other questions, Marion?
I'm still using the old one to get in. Do I have to change something?
No, right, if you're seeing everything on if you're getting it to Uniguest, that's fine, it's called Community Apps. But if you're getting in and seeing everything that you want to, that's fine. You can do that. What was your question?
If I bought Chromebook, would I be able to use Uniguest on it?
Oh, yes, I do it all the time. Yeah, it's very good. It has a Google operating system, and the nice thing about the Chromebook, it's always updating. You don't have to worry about updates and stuff like that, so it's kind of simple. Yes. Yeah, she has a Mac, an Apple product. Mhm. Okay, well then you can, yes, take if you have a portable device, then take it to the Rock office. If it's not portable, just sit down and type that into the Universal Resource Locator URL at the very top of your desktop, and that will get it to you. You also you can do it residentapps.com, and it should come up there too. So anyway, just go ahead, and if it's a desktop, then just type in everything that's written there for you, and that will get you there. I mean, it's tedious, but it works. Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. And if you're interested in joining the committee, please see me or any other members.
Thank you, Tom. Nice job, Rick. I appreciate what you're doing and your committee, what they're doing. Right? Okay, and now for one of our highlights of our program, we will now hear from our executive director.
Good morning, everybody. Just a couple quick updates. So I wanted to give a little update on sales. So we had a great fourth quarter. I talked about that at Town Hall. The team's keeping that momentum going right into January. So we have 3 sales scheduled to close next week, which is what we are budgeted for. And we actually might pick up 1 apartment of occupancy this month, so we're heading in the right direction. Our budget for the first quarter is 13 sales. We already have 1 sale scheduled for February, so the team's doing an excellent job. We are still interviewing candidates for the director position, so we're making sure we hire the right person for Freedom Plaza. In the interim, Barbara Gans is doing a great job supporting the team, and you'll hear from her after I'm finished today. In the memo this week, you saw we're going to start doing breakfast and lunch with me if you want to. It is not mandatory, but I'm happy to have breakfast and lunch with folks. I'm excited because I've only eaten in the sports bar maybe once or twice since it's open. So I'm looking forward to that because it's all different menu items. And you can sign up for that with Stephanie. I wanted to spend just a couple minutes talking about expectations when it comes to pets, service animals, and emotional support animals. I know that's been sort of a hot button, and I've been hearing some scuttlebutt from different folks over the last few weeks, and I just wanted to make a few comments. I did mention it in the memo last week, but just wanted to reiterate that, is that only service animals can be in the food service areas. So pets and emotional support animals cannot be in food service areas. Pets should be carried or in a stroller while in common areas. So that's an expectation. Our employees will remind those who are not adhering to those expectations. But I think in general, everybody needs to keep in mind that we're a community of many, and there's all sorts of expectations. Expectations about animals, expectations about parking, expectations about making reservations in the dining room. So it's just, we put those out there, and if there needs to be further clarification on what the expectations are, we're all here to sit down and have conversations with you, but just ask that you're respectful of your neighbors and adhere to those guidelines. Also, I wanted to talk a little bit about a new event that we started. We're doing it bi-monthly, so every other month we're hosting a new resident event. And we're doing that in the club room, and it's for anybody that's physically moved in the prior 2 months. And so all the department directors go to that event. Each department's come up with a little gift to give the new resident. We also created an informational binder for those folks. So it's our way of making sure, even though most of us have probably already met those individuals, it's sort of a planned, deliberate event. We get to know them a little better. They get a little bit better understanding of what each department does. So it's and Lisa is spearheading that. And the first one went well. We learned some things we want to do differently, and our next event is on Monday for those who have moved in the last 2 months. Also, Carol mentioned as part of the Admin Services Committee, signing in at the front desk for AccuShield. So I did put that in the memo the last few weeks as well. Everybody's well aware that scams are on the rise. I don't think they ever went away, but they continue to get more prevalent, and they sort of evolve into things that are more elaborate and seem very real. And so that's why it's so important. And these folks are persistent. So we've had residents change phone numbers, and then people start calling and posing as family members, trying to get the new phone number of the individual. They will physically come to the building looking for the person. So that's why it is so critical that everybody that is not a resident or an employee is signing in at that kiosk at the front desk. And our front desk staff, as you saw earlier, has a lot of responsibilities that they're trying to do at the same time. So they will absolutely, if they see somebody walking in and kind of avoiding that kiosk, redirect them to the kiosk. And they know if the person or individual doesn't seem very willing, they will call for support from a director in the building to assist with either getting that person to sign in or asking them to leave. But you also notice the sign we have now at the front desk as you come in, sort of directing people to the kiosk to sign in. Just really important. We're very aware. We're in constant communication with the sheriff's office on what we're hearing, what's going on here, and then any directives they give us, we also adhere to those as well. But just remind your family members, friends, guests that come to the community if they could please sign in and always wear their visitor sticker, just so we know that they have signed in and they should be here at the campus. Also, another thing, I've heard a lot this week. So this is sort of a good problem to have, right? Our meeting space, the rooms we have for meetings and where residents can have their clubs and activities and games meet, that space is finite, right? But the number of those activities continues to grow. So space is at a premium, especially if somebody has some sort of activity or club that wants to meet on a recurring basis. And then people get very frustrated if they want a specific day and time and we don't have availability anywhere for them to have whatever activity they want to schedule. So we're doing our best. We want to accommodate as many people as we can, but I know as we've gone through this over the last week or so, and we're looking at the calendar and the things that are on there, especially recurring, we found a few folks or groups that said, oh, we don't need that anymore. So if you have a club or a group of residents that plays a game or anything that has meeting space reserved on a regular basis, and you no longer need that, please let Stephanie know so we can free up some space on the calendar, because we always have a line of folks that are looking for rooms to hold those activities. And that's all I have. Does anybody have any questions for me? Al?
Angie, could you take a vacant apartment or two and turn them into temporary?
So the question is, can we take a vacant apartment and turn those into meeting spaces? So I'll tell you my hesitance to do that, and is two things. We've done that, and it upsets residents that reside in close proximity to those rooms because of whether it's more activity in the hallway or it creates noise. So that's one hesitation I have. Secondly, when we do that and then we sell the apartment, people get upset because that was their room. So I think if push came to shove, we could do that for like one-offs, but I'm hesitant to book that on a recurring basis, that it becomes an expectation that it's available.
What are you doing to get the information about when to replace them?
So we do have a list of windows we are going to replace. Is that what you're asking? So we do have a list. It's not everybody's windows, but we're going to do them over time. So Sibby will be in touch with those people that are going to get their windows replaced, and they're already ordered, but it's gonna be, I mean, you all know how it goes. It's 30 to 60 days for us to get the windows in order to replace them. So Sibby will be in touch with a group of folks that's gonna get the windows replaced. Once we get through that group, then we'll put the request in for the next group of windows. So we'll make sure we communicate that over the next few days. That's been sort of a recent development for us.
Did we get an approved capital budget yet?
We did get an approved capital budget this week. So we will be talking about that at Town Hall, as well as doing the 2024 capital project wrap-up, going over everything we did last year and what we're going to be doing this year. I'll keep you in suspense until then. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Angie. Informative as usual. I can relate to this business of your question now. The Plaza Players, when it had its heyday around here a few years ago, had all kinds of props and had costumes and all kinds of things associated with plays. And we used 430, which is the first room around the corner here. Right. And it was wonderful. And then one day, they sold it. And we had to move out. Oh, what a mess that was. And Angie heard about it too. Okay. Quiz. Do you know what the Ambassadors Club or activity is all about? Anybody that doesn't? I'm sure there are some that don't. And that, right. All right. The ambassadors are a group of residents who attend often a monthly meeting of the marketing department, at which time they share with them who's coming in, who has signed, who hasn't signed. It's about marketing, and they have used residents to help them host and help them to welcome new people, to help the marketing department to do some things in recruitment and so forth. And so they meet periodically, and it's open to all of you who want to, attend this meeting, and it's in the club room. And there's an announcement usually in the weekly on that. Well, anyway, last week we were at an ambassadors meeting, and it was a regular routine meeting. At the end of the meeting, we had an address by a speaker, and that speaker was Barbara Gans, G-A-N-S. And Barbara is a sales specialist, and she is here because we don't have a director, and she's kind of, for the program, and she's kind of filling in the meantime, to head up that department. And so she was a speaker and she addressed the group, at that meeting. And Kathy over here asked her some pertinent questions about what do you think about Freedom Plaza and so on and so forth. And she got telling all these positive, wonderful things that she can talk about on Freedom Plaza. And I said, wait a minute, you've got to hear this. So today, I am happy to present to you Barbara Gans, who's going to tell us all kinds of good things. And you will want to, Barbara.
Okay, thank you, Bill. And I did not know I was a speaker at that fabulous ambassador meeting. I've just asked a couple of questions. That's all you have to do with me, and I'll get up and talk until the day is blue. So it is my pleasure to be here at Freedom Plaza, Sun City. I am a sales specialist for Life Care Services. I've been doing this for 11 years. I was here 10 years ago only to stay here. I'm supporting another community. And why am I not here? Because it's such a great community. I get sent to the compromised communities to help out. Yeah, I have job security. I could do this till I'm 110, I think. Anyhow, it is my pleasure to be here. And I'm here now because In my capacity, I also do some HR assistance with hiring new employees. So I'm here helping to screen a new sales and marketing director. Hopefully somebody comes on board soon, and then I'll help train that new director. So I'm so impressed with all of you, with your committees, with your structure. Bill is so organized. And I have to say, I can do a lot of things well. I'm a technical idiot. And when I got here, I drove here. I lived on the east coast of Florida. I got settled in the evening, got up to my apartment, which is beautiful, but I couldn't get the dang TV to go on. So I went down to the desk, and sure enough, a really nice concierge came up, and oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed. It was one little click, and the TV went on, but their help is wonderful after hours. So Bill, so organized, he gave me a list of questions to answer and share your thoughts on Freedom Plaza from my perspective as a regional sales specialist. Well, when I come to the communities, I stay at the communities. I didn't always have to do that. Specialists could stay at hotels and dine out and all that, but I always wanted to experience what it's like, what I'm selling at a particular community. So I stay here, I enjoy it, and I'm finding Sun City, Freedom Plaza Sun City, to be the most robust of all of our communities in our portfolio. Who knows how many communities we have in the Peak portfolio? How many? 13, perfect. What is your name? Al Roberts, thank you. We do have 13, and I will describe those in a minute because it's on my list from Bill, some things to answer about that. So I'm going to be really presenting today with an agenda. All right. But again, living here, I love how robust this community is. I look out the window, people are out on golf carts, they're golfing. We don't have golf courses on site in our other communities. This is absolutely wonderful. All of you appear younger to me than at our other communities. That's not necessarily chronological age. It's a spirit, it's an activity, and it's wonderful. We don't have that everywhere. Okay, so how does Freedom Plaza compare with other CCRCs in the Life Care Services portfolio? So he wanted to know occupancy and number of apartments in each. Would you all like to know that too? Okay, so we're going to start at the top. Freedom Point at the Villages, 235 independent living apartments, 98.3% occupied. I was there helping because I go to communities that are in need. Oh gosh, right after COVID, 2021, and they were about 82% occupied. So our communities are all on the rise. We have an initiative with Life Care Services to get all of us at 95% occupancy. So we'd love all your help with that as well. So Freedom Point the Villages, 98.3. Next is Galleria Woods in Birmingham, Alabama, 96% occupied. And these statistics are as of the first of this year. Freedom Village Brandywine, 94% occupied. Village of Glenlock Farms, that's in Spring, Texas, 94% occupied. Cypress Village, I was there probably 8 years ago, and we never got out of the 70s at that time. Cypress Village is now 92.7% occupied. They're similar, they have 347 independent living units, a little smaller than you. Regency Oaks comes next. Regency Oaks is in Clearwater, and they have 385 units, 90.9% occupied. Freedom Village Holland, they only send me there in the winter, and the snow is like up to here. But it's a lovely community because the sidewalks are geothermal. They're heated that way, so you could walk from the community into town even though there's lots of snow and have clear sidewalks, really cool. 88.5% occupied. We're getting to you. And even though you're doing really well, like Seminole Square, 299 units, that's independent living, 86.7% occupied. And now we come to Frida Plaza, Sun City Center, and you have 425 units, so you're the largest independent living unit count. And I have this as the first of the year, Angie, I have 86.3% occupied, still holding, we're growing from there. Next is Freedom Square, Seminole, 269 units, 86.1% occupied. Freedom Village, Bradenton, 411 units, 84.9% occupied. And where I've been sent for the last 2.5 years are the following two. Southport Square, 416 independent living units, 63.9% occupied. Lakeport Square, 396 units, 58.1% occupied. I study this kind of living in industry in my spare time, and if you're under 82% occupied, you shouldn't even be doing this. It's just not lucrative. So you're all doing great. Dining options. The dining options here are the best that I've seen in our portfolio. You have the grill and you have 6 dining venues. That is spectacular. You have no idea. It is wonderful, absolutely wonderful. I love the declining balance that you have. We do not have that at the other communities. You get 1 meal a day. Use it or lose it. Just 1 meal. But you have that declining balance. You use it as you want, correct? Yes, you can. I've studied it. Yeah, it's wonderful. You get a certain amount from your monthly fee, and every time you have a meal, if I have learned this right, in 1 week, you get a little slip that tells you your balance, and you can have elevated dining or home-style dining, and I think it is, I know it is. It's absolutely a wonderful, wonderful feature that we don't have everywhere. Yeah. And I think some of you even have an opportunity to have a lesser plan if you want, similar to the old 21 days. I'm surprised we even have that anymore. If you have it, hang on to it and ask for it to be grandfathered, because it's fabulous. It really is. Really, really good. All right, those questions. Okay, so what else is great about Freedom Plaza Sun City Center? I'm telling you the reasons I like staying here. The apartments are big. Your lanais are beautiful. They're climate controlled. Does that sound novel? It's novel to me because where I go, they're not. They're screen lanais and they have like dull plexiglass. Your lanais are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. We do not have them everywhere. And the best thing that you have here is the true Type A contract, life care contract. Again, we have the 13 communities, we just talked about them. There's only 2 that have a true Type A. So it's Freedom Plaza, Sun City Center, and Freedom Village Brandywine up in West Cokesville, Pennsylvania. So not only do I love living here and seeing you all live here, but I love selling this. This is the creme de la creme. It is the gold standard of senior living, is to have a Type A contract. Countrywide, and I look at other CCRCs in the country as well, anyone who has a Type A contract usually charges much higher entry fees, a lot higher. Sorry? Type A, absolutely. All of our other communities are modified Type A. You have Type A, so when you come in, you're paying a monthly fee and a second person monthly fee if there's a second person, and that continues with you no matter what your level of healthcare living. That is fabulous. Not so at our other communities. So, and I'm sorry, what is your name? Barry? Okay, all right. May I ask, are you living here yourself in your apartment? Okay, so you have X amount of monthly fee, and let's say, and I just make things up, you need assisted living, memory care, at some point you need long-term skilled nursing. Number 1, you have it here. That's another bonus, 113 beds, who has that?
And in this country, the amount of skilled nursing beds are even being limited. It's fabulous that you have it, put all money aside, it's here for you. And then when you need it, you're going to pay the same monthly fee. May I ask, do you have long-term care insurance, Barry? Okay, that's all right. So it gives you the opportunity. Okay. So, yeah, you can talk to Dennis about that. And one of my next points is going to be to have you recommend us to your friends and have them come talk to us in the sales office. And we will explain those contracts in depth because it's very, very important and it's excellent. It's an excellent feature that you have here, whether you have long-term care insurance or not. If you do have long-term care insurance, a good policy, you probably pay nothing for a higher level of health care living. But we can talk about that one-on-one.
You go to the marketing office, and they'll explain it.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm sitting, where am I sitting now? Angie, 349. And I have an office up there. I'm sitting as the interim sales and marketing director. And there's a great team up there. So I don't have to do a whole lot with a team. So you're all welcome to come up and ask me your personal questions. And I'd be happy to answer that.
349, the number of the room.
Yes, yes. Okay, how does Freedom Plaza compare with other CCRCs in our geographical area? So it is my understanding we are the only true type A, full continuing care retirement community in this area. Some of the ones closest are in our own portfolio. And this is a big one. What challenges do you see ahead for Freedom Plaza? Yes? Not that far, not that far. Somebody who's living in Sun City and they want to know what their options are. I'm only here a short time, but I think they have Ashton Gardens, and where? And Sun Towers. Those are the two I had down. And they are not, they're rental communities. They are rental communities. And typically, when you need to go a higher level of care, you're going to pay market rate. If they don't have the assisted living you might need, that's at one of those communities. You have to find it yourself and pay market rate. Once you're here, you're living here, you're qualified, you're approved, you're ready for anything. You're ready for anything, and we're ready for you. What challenges do I see ahead for Freedom Plaza, Sun City Center? And I say that, by the way, because we used to have Freedom Plaza Peoria. I would go to Peoria, Arizona all the time, so I'd always differentiate. So even now I have to keep saying, Freedom Plaza, Sun City Center, even though you are Freedom Plaza. So yesterday we had a really nice marketing event in the Plaza Club. There were about 60 people there. And I gathered from them what I think an issue could be for us moving a little bit forward. Again, how occupied are we now? Anybody know? 86.3. Life Care Services, peak portfolio, we have an initiative to strive for 95. We're all trying to get to 95%, and we'd love your assistance with it. Because the challenge that I see, especially even after yesterday, we had a lot of folks from some city communities, and right now what they're expressing is there's so many homes on the market, and they're afraid of being able to sell their home and come in with us. So that I see as a challenge, because we've been pretty level as far as home selling since 2020, and now there's just so many on the market that it's getting ridiculous. So we would like your help with that. You all know what the Friends for Life program is. I'd like to renew it. We would like all of you to help us with that road to 95 to get us 95% occupied on the charts. And also, it's a great opportunity for you all to choose your new neighbors. You're not that far off. You know, we can do this pretty quickly. So we'd like to suggest that with your help, that we get 30 new referrals within the next 3 months. And if each of you could do your part, we're gonna make a little contest of it. Of course, when you bring somebody in, you get some money and you get that off your monthly fee, which is quite nice. But we're gonna give some individual recognition to those who do bring in more. And then of course, to the whole community, if we can get to that 95 this year, I think it'll be a great accomplishment. So after this meeting, if you don't mind picking up a couple of these or come to my office, I'll be happy to share those with you. We need all your help with that initiative to get us occupied. If you would like my assistance in talking with your friends that you're recommending, just bring the cards in. I'll make sure myself and the sales team talks with the folks that you are encouraging to come here. Try to encourage the ones that their house is going to be easy to sell. And I actually, just before I came here, I found a nice buyer profile. So who is our average buyer coming in right now? So their average age is 81. Second, and this is average, just average. The second person is 79. Their average annual income, write all this down so you bring in the right folks. No, I'm teasing. But average annual income, $104,700. The percentage of that spent on their monthly fee is 52%. Their combined average of assets, this is just average, $1,321,315. And the portion of that goes to their entry fee is typically 24%. Their home value, average, $377,765. So we hope that doesn't go down, with the glut of homes on the market right now. Hopefully it's temporary. And the portion of that, of the entry fee is typically 70%. So people do need to sell their homes to move in here unless they have assets elsewhere. So again, we ask for your help in bringing on new residents to lovely Freedom Plaza Sun City. We'll get to 95% occupied. It'll be my pleasure to be with you all here as that's happening. So thank you, and thank you, Bill, for keeping me on track with your questions.
Thank you, Barbara, thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah. I kind of put her on the spot when I asked her to do this for her, but I think she had a great message. I think we need to hear those positive things and how great we are. All right, thank you for being here today, and we'll see you at our next meeting, right? Bye.